Africa Museum. So stay tuned as I take you through the museum. Come. Alright, Daddy.
This is the One Africa Walls of Remembrance Museum, and the images speak for itself. The images span from many years, from the 60s era and even beyond. Some of the history goes back to 1834 over there. Some of the aspects of our history that might have gotten missed, like the atrocities that was committed upon the Ethiopian people in 1834 over here. Italy's war crimes against Ethiopia. We have particular aspects of history that might have, or definitely have been overlooked by the history books. So we decided to put these in, my mom's and my pops, and then start a small Wall of Remembrance Museum. And we need more space, as you can see. So we're looking for more space, more walls, so we can put up more artifacts and more information.
And I know these arts are not just here for a purpose. Can I get something from this very art behind you?
Well, you can see that it's showing you two great heroes, and it speaks for itself once again. The Honorable Mosiah Garvey, and then also the Sajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. The two of them were leading Pan-Africanists, and they were responsible for, of course, fighting for African independence. And this is a beautiful mural that is painted that depicts that, so people like to come and take pictures of it and take pictures with it.
No one knows it. When Africa redemption come one day, I see.
That's right.
The storm, it will be here, Africa for Africans, both home and abroad, west of Black Moses, who proposed for the return of all blacks in the diaspora back to Africa from the Black Star Line to effect this. Wonderful.
Yeah. And you can see the two flags here, the red, black, and green, and then the Ghana flag.
Yeah.
And it was the Black Star Line is where Kwame Nkrumah got the idea from the Honorable Marcus Garvey to use the Black Star inside of the Ghana flag. So that's why they're so significant.
Wow. I think I can see the house flag here. Eddie, can you take us through this?
Well, let me turn a little light on this situation.
Okay. Wow.
Here, of course, you see a lot of the depictions of the atrocities that was committed upon African people. A lot of people might assume and think that when Africans were being extracted out of Africa and taken abroad, they must have gone to a better place and a better land. But this is some of the proof that shows you what happened to African people. Here is a store in Atlanta, Georgia, that it says auction and Negro sales. And you can go into this store and buy a slave, a captive African.
Wow.
So this is why history is so important. And if you really want to see some of the atrocities, here they are, a crowd, a mob, burning an African while they all standing looking very happily. And even children standing and watching our people being hung from trees. So you could see that the inhumane atrocities that was committed upon African people was not a good thing for Africans to be in that place, in that God-forsaken land.
And I think you'll be happy our diasporas out there need to come back home.
Well, with this being the 400 years of return, many, many Africans are returning home. And you can see that when they return home, they are also interested in staying and developing and helping to rebuild, repair, and reconstruct Mother Africa. Yeah.
I love this.
A lot of the artwork, once again, the batik work showing and depicting Africans being marched from very far and in chains. Some of the beautiful artwork done by our people here on the continent.
Meaning our forefathers really suffered.
Of course, yeah. And they suffered for us to be here today. Yeah, they still fought and they knew that one day we would be free and independent. And so here we are. We need to always remember. That's why it's important to remember our ancestors. In here, though, is a also very interesting room. We sometimes we think that African people didn't contribute anything, but actually African people contributed everything. This is only a very small depiction of some of the inventions by African people. For example, the light bulb, the lamp, the kerosene lamp, the fire extinguisher. You couldn't have a cell phone if it wasn't for the ingenuity of an African mind.
Is it made by an African person?
Yes, some of the components inside of a cell phone was made possible by, and all the names are down here, so you can even look these things up online if you really want to see the facts. Benjamin Banneker was an incredible inventor who had so much influence on civilization for what he was able to do. Door lock, traffic light, railroad. I could just go on and on and on with so many household products, brooms, mops. African people brought this kind of civilization to the world. We should feel proud and know that's who we are.
Daddy.
And this is, like I said, a very small portion
of what African did.
This also is a very small portion of our trueberry. We call it a trueberry because some people call where they keep their information a library, where you keep and house many lies. But here is a trueberry of information that you can find factual evidence. And it extends to over here where people, sometimes the truth hurts, because if you start talking about people's religion and you want to study religion, then you have to go back to origins of religion. And one of the oldest origins of religion is this particular book called the Egyptian Book of the Dead, formerly known as the Book of Coming Forth by Day. And this is one of the first known scriptures that was given to mankind or produced by mankind. And it has predated other books by hundreds of years. What I mean by other books, it predates the Quran, Torah, and also, of course, the Bible.
Oh, okay.
This came before those books. And it has the same information. That means those books did what?
From this.
That's right.
Sure.
They all were born out of this book. So if you really want to go back and you want to study well, you have to study what African people taught. And then you get to the real source. Because today, as you know, a lot of things have been changed.
Daddy, you did have this book on market that if any African wants to...
Sure, you can go online and buy all this information. It's available, yeah.
Oh, okay. Daddy, please, I can see all these stuffs around.
My moms and my pops collected some of these items from the slave dungeon, or from the dungeon in Cape Coast and in Elmina. And some of these are just artifacts that was left there. And at one time you could see blood stains on the stones. This is the blood, sweat, and tears. And these pieces of metal and things is where our people were in shackles. So my moms and pops was able to collect some of those artifacts. Very important to hold on to it. Here you can see what the bottom of a slave ship, a captive African ship, looked like. This is how we were laid out on the bottom of a ship, in chains and shackles.
I'm gonna pack you guys like a fish.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we have to know that history. We have to know it.
This is amazing.
Some people would like to see images that look like the Christ and the prophets and the white Jesus, their depictions of their deities and their gods look like them, don't they?
Sure.
Why do ours look like someone other than us?
Unless you guys will educate us on certain things.
Well, if I control who and how you see your higher deities and your messiahs in Christ, if I give you that image then and I make that image look like me, your psychological, mental, emotional self begin to value that rather than valuing your own. And we have many depictions of our own. Here's a depiction of the Last Supper. And that's just saying what I'm saying. We should feel proud to see our images of the Last Supper.
Yeah.
You see who's sitting at the round table, right? All of these great historical figures are at the round table. Why not teach our children that should be the story of the Last Supper, with us sitting at the table?
And this actually happened at which country?
This is a depiction of the so-called Last Supper. It's a depiction with our great men, historical people. You can see who's in the picture, can't you?
Yeah, Kwame Nkrumah, Bob Marley.
That's right. You see Bob Marley is even in the picture. Martin Luther King is in the picture. Why not put us? Even that one in the center, who do you think that is?
When I was thinking like J.J. Rowling, but I think it's different from.
It could be.
Resemble J.J. Rowling.
That is JJ.
Yeah, J.J.
As long as they are depictions of our people, and let children to grow up with those images, and we'll feel proud of ourselves. Yes.
You have really done well. You've really done well of educating us on certain things, and we have learned much. We say thank you, and our lovely viewers who are also watching us have also learned much. And to our diaspora out there, please, as this year is a year of return, come back home, come and feel at home, listen, learn, and take a decision whether you are coming back to stay in Ghana or you'll still be in there. Thank you very much for watching us, and thank you very much for spending your time to watch on this channel. Say bye-bye to meet you next time.
This is just a small portion. You have to come to see most of it, and a lot of it we still hold sacred. So you can't see everything unless you come. You gotta come. Bravo for you.
Okay.